You finished your training at the trucking school, but now you get to go to a company. You go through orientation and some more training. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Trainer Allen here, your OTR truck driver instructor. Last video, we talked about going to school, going to truck driving school. In that video, I talked about things to bring, things not to bring. I want to just throw out a couple of things that I forgot to mention. First of all, this here is the puffy coat that I was talking about in that video. So, yeah. Anyway, what else? Let's see here. I forgot to talk about flashlight. Make sure you have a flashlight. I have a flashlight right here. This is a perfect little flashlight. Here's why it's so perfect. Number one, it's got this little hook right here. You can hang it anywhere. Okay. Number two, it's got a little magnet right here, which you can magnetize it like that, or it's got magnets down here, heavier magnets down here, and it's on a swivel. So you can put this thing pretty much anywhere, and yeah, it's good to go. Whether you hang it, magnetize it, something, whatever. It's got two light functions on it. It's got this really bright front light here. And then if you want to use it as a handheld like this, it's got that light there. So very nice little light. I think I picked this up for maybe $10 at a truck stop somewhere, but I'm sure you can find them other places as well. The other thing that I have that I like to keep around is this little hat right here. This little hat right here. As you can see right here, it's got these built-in lights. I'm not straight, am I? Nope, doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah, so there's that. And the great thing about it is that it's warmer than a regular hat. You know, you've also got the clip-on lights that you can put on the bills of pretty much any hat. I like this just because it's good for winter, summer, doesn't matter. This is a good hat. Now, in the winter, when you're wanting to stay a little bit warmer, if you wear a hat like this or a baseball cap or whatever, you can still use this. It keeps you that much warmer. It's nice to have. So there's that. Definitely bring a flashlight. Do not forget to bring a flashlight. And for those of you who haven't watched the previous video about what to bring, I will drop a link to that either on a card somewhere here on the screen or down below. So yeah, check that out. Also, I mentioned some things not to bring. A couple of additions to that. Don't bring your laptop. It's unnecessary. It's going to be more equipment for you to tote around from place to place to place. It's going to be more things in the way in a small cab that two of you are already going to be in. Don't bring a game system. No need for it. You're not going to have time for it. Other than driving, learning, pretty much anything else that you need to do, like I had said before, notebook, and of course you'll have your phone. Maybe a small MP3 player. You don't need any more than that. I promise you. You will not have time for any more than that. All right. So, that said, moving on. You've finished up at school, and now they're shipping you off to a trucking company. Now, that is if you did not go to a trucking company school. Obviously, if you went to a trucking company school, this is all going to be a little bit different for you because you're already going to be there. And the whole orientation thing that I'm about to talk about, you've already done this. You did orientation before you started doing the schooling because they wanted to make sure that you were hireable before they started putting that time and money into you. Now, for those of you who went to a community college school or a regular trucking school, you were contacted by a recruiter, most likely while you were at schooling, and now you are on your way to what you think is going to be that perfect job. All right. Well, to get started, you're going to spend 3 to 5 days, depending on the company that you go to. You're going to spend 3 to 5 days in orientation. They pretty much all say 3 days, but depending on what you have and don't have, how many ducks in a row you have when you go in, it could take longer. Also, they do a DOT physical. Yeah, you just did a DOT physical in school, but you're going to do another DOT physical for the company. Again, that's different if you're at a company school because the company has already done the physical right there with the company. So, first thing I want to talk about, yes, you're going to do another DOT physical. If you can't pass a drug screen, don't go. Period. I don't care if you have to make an excuse, say something's going on for the next month, go get clean and then go. There's no reason to take fake urine, any of that crap. It's stupid. Don't do it. Don't chance it. Because ultimately, if you go and they catch you with that fake urine or you pop positive, either one, it will ruin your career, at least out the gate, which is going to make it even more difficult for you to get a good driving job. It's not worth it. Don't mess with it. Second thing, having your things in order. I talked in my previous video about making sure that you have your birth certificate, your social security card, 10 years of job history. Also, if they've provided it, you want to have your certificate of driver training from the school that you went to, especially if it's been more than 30 days since you went to school. On your job history and driver training school history, don't just have an address and a number for the place. Try to make sure that you have an actual contact name, somebody that they can actually contact that's going to rapidly work with them. Because here's the deal. You are pre-approved most times before going in. They've done a very basic background check. But until you actually are there in orientation and you've actually signed the paperwork for them to be able to do in-depth background checks and get your work history and everything, they haven't done any of that. Okay? So you need to have all your ducks in a row. You need to make sure that you have the names, numbers, all of that for the people that they need to talk to verify your work history. And this is FMCSA. This isn't just a company thing. FMCSA requires that a company has 10 years history on all of its drivers. Okay? That's not something you can get around. And I know some of you are going to be 21, 22, 23 years old. I don't have a 10-year work history. Of course you don't. They understand that. FMCSA understands that. Okay? But what you are going to have is you're going to have the information for your high school or GED, any college attended, okay? Any jobs that you've had since you were 15, 16 years old, you're going to have that information. They're going to want it. All right, so past that. Okay, so you're looking at 3 to 5 days of orientation. One thing that I mentioned in the previous video to bring was money. Make sure you have money with you. Otherwise, it's going to be a miserable week. Okay, don't go in there thinking, oh, they're just going to give you money. It doesn't work that way. And until you're hired, you're not going to get any money coming out of orientation within 2 or 3 days. Okay. Now, most companies, once you have finished your orientation, once you have, been hired, depending on the company, you can see anywhere from $50 to $250 on the Friday that you finish, or Wednesday, however it works. The day that you finish your orientation, you can expect some money once you're hired on. If you don't get hired on, for whatever reason, whether they couldn't get your background check done, whether you've got a other physical conditions that they couldn't pass you on a DOT physical or whatever, the reasons come up and they can't hire you. Believe me, it's not that they don't want to hire you. I don't know how many drivers I've seen come through orientation and one thing or another went wrong in their application process or whatever, and they weren't able to get hired. And the first thing that they want to do is say, oh, they didn't want to hire me. Baloney. Believe me, these trucking companies out here want to hire you. They will bend over backwards to try and hire you. Why? Because they need drivers. So if you don't get hired out of orientation, it's usually an issue on your end. It may be an issue that you can fix. It may be an issue that you can't fix. It may be an issue that you didn't even know about. So yeah, ultimately, just another thing that they, when they're looking at criminal background, do not lie on your criminal background check. Don't lie. Period. Put it all out there. Most companies will work with most felons. So don't assume that, oh no, I've got this old felon charge and I've got to try to hide it and hope they don't catch it. No, put it out there. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to matter. All right. So in orientation, you're going to be in a room with someone else. There is a way to get around that with most companies, unless they have their own motel room right there on company property, which a lot of places do now. But if they're putting you up in another motel, a lot of times to get your own room, they will charge you an upcharge fee. And that can be anywhere from $15 to $30. So if you were wanting your own room, expecting your own room, don't expect it. But if you want it, you plan on having at least $25 a night for 3 to 5 nights to cover that so that you will have your own room. Otherwise, expect to be put up for free, company's expense, with another person that's in orientation. People in orientation, you as a trainee coming into a new company, you are not going to be the only ones in that orientation. Some companies split it up better, some companies don't. But ultimately, during any orientation cycle, you've got owner-operator contractors coming in, you've got lease purchase drivers coming in, you've got experienced company drivers coming in, and then you've got the trainees. Okay, so that's 4 different aspects that they're having to work on. There may be anywhere from 10 to 150 people that they're working on. Okay, and usually most orientation staffs range anywhere from about 3 to 8 people. Okay, so be patient. Be very patient with them. Pay attention in orientation. Again, this goes back to the notebook that I was talking about in the last video. Use that notebook. Take notes. Write things down. The handouts that they give you, hold on to them. Keep track of them. Read them. In the evening when you're back at your hotel room, go over some of that. Okay. It's going to be useful for you. It's going to help you not only during your stay there in orientation, but on into training and on through your career. The information that they're giving you for a reason. Take note of it. All right. So you do your 3 to 5 day orientation. You get out of orientation, and now you're being put with a trainer. Expect to be with your trainer anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks on average. Don't expect any home time in that 4 to 8 weeks. And I understand. You just got out of school. You were in school for 2 to 4 weeks, and now I'm telling you that you're not going to be home for another 4 to 8 weeks. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay, and even after training, it may take a few days before they can get you through your house. So, again, be patient. Focus on the task at hand. Okay, if you spent a month in school and you spend 2 months in training before you get to go home, that's 3 months a very good possibility of 3 months that you'll be away from home. 3 straight months. And you're like, whoa, what? I wasn't expecting that. I get that. Most people aren't expecting it, and it's very tiresome. It grates on the nerves, grates on the mind, and it can be rough. And now you're going out in a truck. They're driving part of the time. You're driving part of the time. You don't know this guy, but you've got to trust him. It can be difficult, very mentally difficult. But at the end of that 3 months, you're going to be prepared, hopefully, to withstand the rigors of the trucking lifestyle. And really, trucking is more than an occupation. It is a lifestyle. It really is. All right. Let's talk about the training. What can you expect in training? You can expect to hear about the Smith system or some version thereof. And I'll do another video about that at a later date, specifically about the Smith system. And the Smith system, for me, is easy. A lot of companies have done their own variations of it. The Smith system is simple, AGKLM, that's the acronym. Aim high in steering, get the big picture, keep your eyes moving, leave yourself an out, and make sure they see you. 5 basics, and once you've gone through those basics and you understand them, you're good to go. As long as you're practicing those basics. A lot of people don't practice them, even though they might know them. All right. What else are you going to go over? You're going to go over logs and mapping. Guys, know your maps. Yes, I know. Most trucks now have GPS on the dash. And if they don't, you've got your phone and you've got GPS there. I get it. Okay? But nothing is better than knowing your maps. When you open up a map book and you see the entire United States, okay? When you can visualize in your mind what that entire map looks like, where each of those roads go to, you become a lot less dependent on GPS. If you're doing everything by GPS, you become dependent on it. When you learn your maps, you're not so dependent on it. And when you get lost, it's easier to find your way out. All right, so you're going to go over that. You're going to go logs again. I know you went through some basic log classes in your schooling, but a couple different things. We are in the age of electronic logs, and now they're required, right? If you're in a big company, you've got electronic logs, period. There are many different styles of electronic logs. So I don't care what you learned on at school. Chances are good it's going to be different at the company that you're at now. Pay really close attention to how the logs work. I mean, logging when you first come in isn't easy anyway. And to go through, a couple different systems and have to learn these different electronic logs and everything makes it a little bit more difficult yet. So pay attention when your trainer is talking about logs, which is another. Also, during orientation, you'll probably go through a logging class as well. What else? General road life skills. You're going to learn from your trainer how to really manage your time out on the road. You're going to learn different places that you can go, places that you can't go, good places to relax, good places to park, good places to shower, good places to do laundry, good places to eat, good places to send money home, good places to receive money if you need money sent from home. These are all things that your truck driver trainer or instructor are going to go over with you. Yeah. All right. A couple things I want to say. And I think I've already said this 3 or 4 times. Be patient. Okay. This whole starting off driving truck is a process, and it takes patience. Have patience with the people in the office when you're in orientation, and have patience with your trainer and his or her dispatcher. Um, ultimately, you're there for the duration until you're done. You're there. Okay. There's no reason to get over hyper. There's no reason to try and rush it any faster than it needs to go. Okay. Soak in as much as you can. I understand you want to go home. I understand you want to go home as soon as you can. Everybody understands that. But you've got to get through this process. And you will. You will. Buck up and just do what you got to do. Learn what you got to learn, do what you got to do, and get through it. You can do it. While you're with your trainer, if he or she asks you to do anything that is illegal, you know for a fact, hey, this is illegal. Get a hold of the training department, let them know, and request to be removed from his truck and put out with another trainer. If you tell them, hey, he's doing something illegal or asking me to do something illegal, they're going to put you with another trainer. Do yourself a favor before you do that, though. Make sure you already have all of your things packed in a bag and that you are ready to go, because that trainer is going to be mad at you. Right or wrong, they just will be. I mean, obviously, you just called them out. So, yeah, they're going to be mad. Have your bags ready. Matter of fact, grab your bags, leave the truck, and then call. No matter where you're at, if you're at a truck stop, whatever, your training department will get you a ride to a bus station to get you to wherever you need to go, or they'll get you to a motel there locally, put you up until a trainer can get through there, whatever. Be prepared to write a statement and fax it to the company. That way they have, documentation of what happened. All right, what else in training? A lot of things that happen out on the road, you're not going to understand. A lot of things that your trainer does, you're not going to understand. Even after he or she explains it to you, you're not going to understand. You're new to the trucking lifestyle. It's different. It's different than anything you've ever done, most likely. So just bear with them. Try to grasp it. If you have questions, ask. And yes, sometimes you're going to think this is probably a stupid question. And yes, sometimes your trainer's going to think, wow, that's a really stupid question. But ultimately, if you need to know it, you need to know it, whether it's a stupid question or not. So don't be afraid to ask those stupid questions. And yes, I know we've all heard the term, there's no such thing as a stupid question, but you're an adult, I'm an adult. We all know there's such things as stupid questions. And honestly, most of the times the questions that you're going to ask aren't stupid. To someone that's been out on the road for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, will it sound kind of stupid? Yeah, it might. But, that's part of it, Yeah, that's just part of it. Anyway, try to be kind to your trainer. Ask questions, but don't bug them. Really, because, some of the best friendships that I've ever made have been trainees, I've got many trainees that I stay in contact to this day, and I haven't had them on my truck in 8, 9 years. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely worth being patient and building those friendships and those relationships with your trainer. because ultimately, even once you get off that truck with that trainer, you're going to have questions. And a lot of times that trainer that you just got off his or her truck, they would be the best ones to be able to answer those questions and help you move on through your next phase in your trucking lifestyle. So, yeah, build those friendships, but don't ever do anything, never do anything illegal. If they ask you to do anything illegal, be like, no, I'm not doing it. Okay? Safety. This is a tough one. Those of us who have been out here for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever, we do some things that to most new drivers would seem unsafe. And, you know, I can't even think of anything off the top of my head right now. But I know of several times over the course of training, you know, I have had trainees say to me, well, is that safe? And I just, you know, in my mind, I'm like, well, yeah, stupid, hello. But then looking back on it within, you know, a minute of the question asked, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I guess to someone that's not been doing this, that would seem unsafe. I wish I could think of a good example off the top of my mind, but I just can't. But don't just automatically jump on the phone with training or dispatch or whatever if you feel that something your trainer is doing is unsafe. Give them a few days. Kind of watch what they're doing. Maybe after a few times of seeing it done, you realize, oh, this isn't really unsafe. Now, if they're tailgating all the time, yeah, that's obviously that's an unsafe thing. If they are telling you to leave the doors unlocked in the truck at night while you guys sleep, that's petty, but it's unsafe. You shouldn't leave your doors unlocked at night. So there are things, obviously, that, you know, if it's a safety issue, you need to notify somebody, and you should probably come off that truck. Yeah. Safety, legalities, things like that. You definitely probably want to come off the truck. If it's a personality issue, work it out. You're an adult. Your trainer's an adult. Do your best to work it out. You know, I watched a video a couple days ago, and, you know, a trainer was talking about the fact that, you know, his trainee was, you know, turning the radio off and on while they're supposed to be sleeping, and, you know, he didn't say anything. Listen, if your trainer is doing that, say something. And if they refuse to stop, well, yeah, go and get another trainer. Contact your training department and definitely look for another trainer, because if you're trying to rest and they're keeping you from resting, that's a serious safety issue. All right, I think that's it for this. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Drop the questions down in the comments. I will get to as many as I can as soon as I can. If I missed anything, if you feel that I missed anything, for those of you who have been drivers for a while, if you happen to be watching this and you feel like I missed something important that you feel like should be discussed here in this conversation, feel free to drop it in the comments. I do ask that down in the comments you guys don't be rude, whether to me or other people making comments. There's no reason for anybody to be rude. I try to do these videos because I want to help new drivers, primarily. So, yeah, be kind. Please rewind. Yeah, that's dates me a little bit. Anyways, yeah. So that wraps up this one, and yeah, you guys stay safe out there. Keep shiny side up and the greasy side down, and I will catch you in the next video. Later.